Good morning, and welcome to another morning market report. Today, we've got a few news articles to go over. A lot of this is going to be about the FOMC. We're seeing just a little bit of a different of opinion about what we might be seeing going forward for rate cuts. We're also seeing a little bit of a difference on opinion about where our current rates lie. So, we've got all of that, but before we get to all of that, let's say good morning to the chat. I've got it pulled on up this morning. We've got Alexander G first in the chat getting that gold membership. Her cap changed from black to gold, been a member for 24 months. So thank you, Alexander G, for always showing up, always being here. We appreciate you. We've got You Know What It Is in the house as well. He grabbed his coffee. He's all ready to go for that morning market report. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Donato Cabrera in the house. Good morning to you. We've got JB Hulk Smash. Appreciate you tuning on in. Lo, who is this? It is BC. You know who it is. Army Piper still on vacation. Might see him tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled. Maybe have an Army Piper back on his show tomorrow. Just depends on if he's actually able to use the internet on the cruise ship or not. Early in the morning, there's a lot of people on the internet, which has really throttled his speeds and kept him from being able to join. But we do have a lot to talk about this morning. I see Robert Mulligan sliding on in here. Good morning. And we've got XYZOZYX in the house as well. Appreciate you tuning on in today. Let's dive into some of what we're looking at for today. We've got a lot going on in our markets. We've got a little bit of a change over here on the stock side. Pretty much everything is sitting in the red right now. Apple down 0.49. We've got Nvidia down 1.17. Berkshire Hathaway sitting down 0.44. Amazon, after a very good day the other day, sitting down 4.6. Eli Lilly was up almost 10% yesterday, sitting down 6.06 right now. We've got ExxonMobil down 1.25. We've got Tesla sitting down 3.72. P&G looking like a nice hedge right now, sitting up 1.22. We've got Microsoft down 3.55. Google sitting down 4%. And Meta sitting down 0.67. We're also seeing a little bit of a change on our indices as well. S&P 500 sitting down 1%, Dow Jones sitting down 1%, Russell 2000 and your small caps sitting down 2% as well. Massive sell-off on some silver. We will get to that in just a little bit though. Hopping on over to the crypto side of things, we're seeing quite the change over there as well. Pretty much a giant sea of red bubbles here. We've got Zcash down 18.6%. Stable, this one way down here, not looking very stable, sitting down 13.6%. Scrolling on down, we've got Bitcoin down 8.5% right now. We'll get to that chart in just a little bit, but we were warning about some potential for some more downside. We've got Ethereum down 8%. OC called out the levels yesterday, so we might have to take a quick look at Ethereum towards the end of the show. We've got BNB sitting down 9.4%. XRP sitting down 14.4%. Massive red bubble there. We've got Solana down 7.2. Tron sitting down 2.4. Dogecoin sitting down 8.3. And Bitcoin Cash for that number 10 position down 5%. moving up a spot, taking that market cap away from Cardano. Cardano sitting down 8.5. Hyperliquid taking a spot in the market cap as well, sitting down 5.8, while Leo token getting smacked around, down 11.7%. We've also got Monero down 12, Canton Network down 11, Chainlink sitting down 7.7, $8.50 here. We've got Stellar Lumens down 8.8, and Litecoin sitting down 6.6. Hopping over to those fear and greed meters, it should be no surprise where that fear and greed meter is sitting for the stock side, but we did see a little bit of a move back towards neutral on the stock side, while the crypto side down another 2 points, really sitting in that extreme fear. No one should be surprised about this with that massive 8% move to the downside. We did finish up grabbing some liquidity that we were talking about the other day. Let's really get this zoomed on out here. Get you that best look at our liquidity on the highest term time frames here. Give it a chance to load. As you can see, this was our range towards the downside that we were really keeping our eye on. 70 to 100. We grabbed up all of this liquidity now. That was about $600 million down there. We've also got zoomed this on in on the 3 month here, a little bit of liquidity that we were keeping our eye on just below that. It's not as hot, but that was that $68,000 range. Grabbed up all of that liquidity as well. Really got to zoom this back on in. Take a look at this 2 week here. We've got Dave Digital in the house. Good morning to you. Appreciate you tuning on in this morning. He said, like number 9 is Dave Digital's. Looks like we got a little bit of a divergence on those likes. So smash up that like button. I appreciate y'all. We've got a little bit of liquidity back up at that $80,000 range that we can really keep our eye on. But in between here and there, we do have a little bit of liquidity that we will need to grab up first, turn some areas into some support if we really want to grab up that 80,000. We will take a look at that Bitcoin chart on a longer term time frame. So this is that area you kind of want to keep your eye on first if we do start to make our way back up towards the upside. This is let me get that down to 0.8 here so we can see things just a little bit better. This is that area first we kind of want to keep our eye on, around 75,000, a little bit of liquidity there, but the hotter spot is back up at our highs, 77,500. So keep your eyes on this. We do have a little bit of liquidity that can pull us back up towards the upside there, but we need to find our support first. Looking a little bit ugly on that Bitcoin chart on the higher term time frame. We've got Jolts jobs coming out this morning, looking like a little bit of a slowdown on that. Forecast was 7.2 million. Prior was 6.9 million. We came out 6.5 million. They've been talking very harshly about jobs for quite a while. Looking like we are seeing a little bit of relief coming into the markets, but we will have to see if we can get this trend to continue. If we can get that trend to continue, if we can have inflation start to come down just a little bit, we can get to an area where we could start to cut some rates again. So we do have a little bit more to kind of keep our eye on for today. We're going over one of the Fed board member speeches from yesterday. We've got Fed Bostic speaking at 10:50 a.m. Keep your eyes on that. If you kind of want an idea of where the Fed might be going for the rest of this year. We've got New Earth Guardian coming on in. He said, this is fine. It is fine if you like buying Bitcoin at some lower levels here. But this is not just a Bitcoin move for today. We saw quite a shift in the market overall. So a lot of people, we've got a lot of crypto people that wake up and they're like, why is the market red? And it's like, the whole market is red though. It's not just Bitcoin. Uh, we like to focus on Bitcoin a lot though, but it's not just the Bitcoin show. Let's get this zoomed on out. Take a look at that higher term time frame here. Let's hide some of these indicators. Really get that view from prior cycle to our cycle now. Because what we were talking about for this range back here pretty much nailed it. We talked about that move back towards the downside after December and January, potentially looking for that move to come in towards the end of January, beginning of February, and pretty much got that dump towards the downside end of January. So nailed that one pretty nicely. And this here, pretty similar to what we were looking like there. Now we're kind of looking to see if we can get a little bit of a pause, a consolidation area where we grab up some of the liquidity that we build up in this area before our last real leg towards the downside. So very, very nice spot to kind of keep our eyes on for a little bit of a pause before we try to make that next move down. A lot of liquidity was built up in this area and grabbed here. Zoom this on in. You can kind of see we sweep all lows that were from back here. We sweep the highs that we built here, and then we really continue towards the downside. This is a few month period here, kind of what we're looking like. We could start all over again here. Really got to get this zoomed on over here. Nice little area. We do have a little bit of liquidity below us that we could potentially sweep here down at about $65,000. So that's a nice area to potentially keep your eye on for a nice strong bottom in this area. Let's get that horizontal ray drawn up for you so you can see things just a little bit better. Make it thicker so we know it's a higher term time frame level to keep our eyes on here. We are below our 50% line on our fib retracements for our full cycle here. So keep our eyes on that. We might make our way back up towards that 50, but it looks like that 50 is going to be our resistance for this next little sideways period here. We have been seeing just a little bit of buy pressure stepping on in here on our daily time frame, and we really got to pull those oscillators back up here to get that better view. Oh, full screened it. Oops, not what we were wanting there. Let's just make those where we can see them. There we go here. We are seeing a few signs here on our oscillators that we could potentially see just a little more downside before we really get that bottoming. So let's get our demonstration tool pulled on up here. As you can see, just getting that visit into our red money flow as we're starting to see some bottoming. We've really seen that slowdown of our volume here as well. Mostly, it's just our buying pressure taking a step back. We've got Army Piper in the house. Appreciate you tuning on in. He said it is dumping. Yes, sir, it is. And it's not just crypto, it is the whole market. We're seeing a massive move towards the downside. New Earth Guardian saying alt season in full swing. It most definitely is. If you're talking about sell off, Bitcoin down 8%, and we've got a lot of alts sitting down 15%. Not too unexpected. We've been warning about this for a while that we're not interested in buying alts. And looks like that was the good move. As people were calling out Link to go to $400, we were like, hey, maybe just don't buy Link. And looks like we were right. So let's see, what is French Toaster? Imagine where alts will be if Bitcoin hits 35K. Yeah, and this is something we've brought up here before. Hopefully, Armory Piper can come on and we really, really talk about this a little more in depth, because we've called out some levels towards the downside to keep your eye on. That's this platinum pocket area. My consensus for a bottom, $38,000 to about $42,000. Little window around that platinum pocket. Pretty nice retracement area to really see, especially when we normally make those three-wave corrections towards the downside. As you see, we make those nice five-wave towards the upside. We got 1, 2, and 3 towards the downside. So really keep your eyes on that. We could go a whole lot lower. And if we go a whole lot lower on Bitcoin, alts are absolutely going to be decimated, especially when a lot of these alts are already sitting at their bear market low levels. So brand new lows on a lot of these alts are coming your way. We do have a few things to kind of keep our eye on here on some of the shorter term time frame for Bitcoin, though. Getting into that 4 hour, we're very, very close to seeing some bottoming. Like I said, you could see a little bit more with that daily look, but we've got a little bit of a divergence here on our money flow. Your money flow is starting to switch up just a little bit. Big slowdown on that sell pressure as money flow just continues to be red. A lot of this is just an indicator that we are waiting to see the bulls stepping back in. A lot of the sell off has not been that the bears are really pushing hard and the bulls are exhausted. It's just that the bulls are like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done trying to push the price higher. I'm done. Let me wait for you to exhaust yourself on this downward move. And looking like we're very, very close to exhausted on this downside move. We do have a little bit more that we could go. Like I was saying, 65K looks like a solid level there. But a lot of indicators here with some reversal signals flashing and a little bit of a divergence on our volume and money flow. Zooming on in, taking a look at this 1 hour, you can see we got that very harsh smack off of VWAP towards the downside here. Very, very close to seeing some bottoming here on the hourly as well. We have got a few reversal indicators that have flashed, some gold diamond, some green diamonds as well. Really looking like this trend is solidifying just a little bit here, and we're waiting for that switch of volume. We have been seeing that volume start to pick up, and we got that briefly switching into some light green here. So keep your eyes on that. That is what we are looking for on that shorter term time frame to start to bleed over into the higher term time frame so that we can try to make our sideways range at about 65,000 to about $70,000 for that top side there. So keep your eyes on that. 15 minutes and the rest of this morning really starting to look bottomed. Like we were talking about here on that hourly, we want to see this start to shift. You saw that divergence of money flow here, nice visit into the green, got that extra divergence on that top side as that money flow started slowing down, but your sell volume really started staying steady here. Really looking for that to start to shift here. As you can see, we already got that money flow divergence, wrong button there, money flow divergence here, and we're starting to see that buying pressure stepping back in. That is that indicator that we're looking for into the higher term time frame. So keep your eyes on some of this. We are starting to look for a little bit of support here on the higher term time frame. This is going to be a massive gap that we are going to start to retest on. We will kind of have to see when this candle stops and then build up that gap from there. So a lot of areas in this range to really start to retest on. We got to find that bottom first though. So we did have a few news articles to go over today. In line with what we were talking about with that Fed chair and the Fed policy. Zooming on in so you can read this just a little bit better. Fed Cook says the policy rate is ever so mildly restrictive. And this is kind of what we've been hearing from the president and a few of the Fed board members that are in line with his consensus. We put a lot of easing into the pipeline at the end of last year, and I think that given where the labor market is, where inflation is, this is the right time to sit back and wait to see what happens. Cook said at the Economic Club of Miami, this rise in the price level should be temporary given the tariffs. So we'd like to see us get back to a disinflationary path. So I think it's mildly restrictive, but ever so mildly restrictive. So like I've talked about here before, there was that dual mandate with the Fed. What we want to see is that inflation rate really start to come back down. And if we can't get that inflation rate to come back down with what we're looking at with our Fed board members and that switch up from our current Fed chair, Jerome Powell, to Warsh, we really might be seeing the Fed kind of stick to that dual mandate. And another thing that Warsh really wants to change at the Fed is some of its powering in its effect to change the market. Really getting into the bottom here, we've got Warsh, who has talked quite a bit about what he would like to see for our FOMC. And that is the Fed having not as large a role in your financial markets and aiming to stay out of asset markets outside of a crisis. And this has been a big thing that the Fed has done for quite a while. We had a giant switch up in how the Fed reacted to the economy, to everyday economy. Whereas in before, the Fed really only intervened when we saw big problems in the economy. That has not been the case for a long time. Warsh would really like to get back to that because he said that a lot of these problems are very cyclical. We make a fix because we impact the entire market. The market corrects, it overcorrects, and now we have to deal with that overcorrection. Whereas, if you took a more hands-off approach, the market normally when it's in those normally seeing growth, you see it maintain steady growth and it really regulates itself. That's the nice thing about a free and lightly regulated market. We also saw that he wants to put a pause to purchase programs. So a lot of the Fed's uh, job is to redirect capital. And he kind of wants to take a little step back from that, not intervene in the markets as much. A large balance sheet contributes to higher inflation, and he wants to send that in the other direction, which is kind of in line with what we've seen from our current administration, really dealing with balance sheets. And then also, he's talked about how the FOMC just subsidizes the government the same way that the government subsidizes the rest of American life. And he talks about how running these larger deficits is a big part, and in a big part, what the FOMC does. So the more hands-off approach that the FOMC can make, the better we might see our debts at that federal level start to take a move towards the downside, because the big part of what the Fed does is just keep that government running. So that's what I got for that FOMC today. Looks like Piper said he might be on the show tomorrow. Let me scroll back up, take a look at that. For most of us, 100K into Sol M has the potential to give 100K rewards in a year, but in real life, it's so scary to move that kind of money. That was from Dave Digital. We got Wick's wife, Fun89 in the house. Good morning, good morning. Army Piper said he was heading on out, still on vacation. Let's see. Heading into port. Much love. Well, have a great day, Army Piper. What was he saying? Bitcoin heading to 39K between now and October, alts don't look juicy at all. Most definitely. He was saying something about potentially coming on tomorrow. Where was it? Heading back to Texas tonight, arrive back Saturday morning. Oh, so maybe not. Might not see Army Piper on the show tomorrow. So we've got Mark Dutch in the house. If you've got those clog emojis, go ahead and drop them in there. Let's see. Anything else in the chat that I missed while I was going over all of that? You know what it is. Let's see. We've got Crypto Squid in the house. Appreciate you tuning on in today. Who else we got? We got French Toaster in here, the bravest little toaster. Let's see. I know I saw someone else. Dave Brumbelow. I appreciate you tuning on in today. Let's see. Good morning, alumni. Just here to lurk and smash that like. Appreciate you, Wick's wife. Let's dive on into some of these charts now because we got a little bit to talk about. We saw gold with a strong move towards the downside. We were calling out the golden pocket here to keep our eyes on. Got that nice little brief bounce off of it before we really started to see this continue here. Let's get those oscillators pulled on up so you can see things just a little bit better here. And on the 4 hour, we did get that diamond that we were talking about the other day. And this daily really looking nasty as well. Got that acceleration on our MACD below our indicator line. Indicator line starting to get that curvature back towards the downside as well. Prime oscillator sitting heavily in the red here and getting some curvature back towards the downside. Got a little bit of a money flow divergence as well. Money flow starting to pick back up. Volume starting to switch from some green to red here. When you zoom this on out, take a look at this on the higher term time frames here and really see this big trend towards the upside that we've been seeing on gold. Have to go back to about 2023 here. We've got a massive move towards the upside. This is when things really started accelerating here. So we'll go from about here in 2024 to now. We've got gold making a 118% move towards the upside. Expect to see some people take some profits off that. This is a massive move towards the upside. And seeing some corrections here, not too unexpected. What gold likes to do is get those strong moves back towards our trend line so that we can continue going parabolic, kind of similar to what we saw here. To see a little bit of a move back towards our trend line is kind of what we needed, especially with how overheated things were on your highest time frames here. You got this week extremely overheated, really starting to see that curvature here as well. Got a reversal signal that is flashed, starting to get that curvature on the prime oscillator as well. So really, really looking overheated on gold. Let's zoom that back to that 4 hour. As you can see, we got that nice little hold up at our golden pocket there. Really starting to see some worrisome signs here on the 4 hour as well, crossing that MACD. We've got that money flow really starting to accelerate on some selling pressure here. Volume as well starting to pick up on that sell volume. So keep your eyes on this. If we do lose that golden pocket, we could make our way back down even further. First area I'd really want to keep my eye on, if we start to lose that golden pocket and really try to put in a lower high or a lower low here, because this is our lower high, is down here at a gap that we haven't revisited in quite a while. So this is all the way back at $4,200. It's also the top side of our fib levels there. So keep your eyes on that. Top side really there going to be 4,315 if we start breaking all of these levels here. And it's looking a little bit nasty on multiple time frames there. Doesn't mean we don't get some shorter term time frame bounces like we got off of that golden pocket to retest on the 50, but that the overall high term time frame trend would send us back down there. We got a brief little visit into some green money flow over the day and really saw that divergence as our volume switched from buying pressure to selling pressure here. So potential for some short-term time frame bottomings, but this down here invalidating our low back here at 4,382 is kind of the move I'm looking for. Would be a nice little cool off here, especially since you're seeing that big change up on the markets and your overall consensus from the Fed, and geopolitical tensions seem to be on the rise. We also talked about silver the other day as well. We were looking for some levels to kind of potentially hold price up at. Didn't hold up at any of them. Let's get this zoomed on out to that highest time frame as well. Take a look at this weekly chart so you can see things just a little bit better here. Probably going to have to get a fib retracement pulled on up so we can see those levels towards the downside, because we're about to break underneath our fib extension levels, looking like we might get a little brief switch of trend here. We have been in an upside trend for quite a while, and to see gold kind of get that sell off, probably going to get the same thing over here on silver. Let's get our higher term time frame fib retracement pulled on up so we can see things just a little bit better. This is the low before the whole move here, and as you can see, we broke below that 50% line, kind of like we were doing on gold, and we've really broken below our first trend line, and this is that next move we were kind of watching for. Got that bounce, short-term bounce off of that trend line here. We're really waiting to see if we get that harsher break below. Oh, we do have our eyes on about $66. That was a level we called out when we started to see the drop here, to see if we could get a little bit of bouncing. That is directly above our golden pocket. If we're going to come that low, we might as well get that golden pocket as well. So we got to zoom this on in. Take a look at this daily time frame. As you can see, we got that harsh drop below our trend line here. Got a brief retest on it before we confirmed it as a resistance area. Got our MACD heading towards the downside, switching up our money flow here as that money flow remains green, and our volume really starts to become some sell volume. So keep your eyes on that $66, 66.36. That looks like the first area to kind of watch for a nice stronger bounce. Hourly getting that rejection off of a level we were calling out the other day, 77.52. Got that brief move above it, weren't able to hold it as some support, and then really dropped through here. Tried to hold that 50 very briefly before we really saw this acceleration of some sell pressure. So precious metals really getting that cool off here. As we said, on that highest time frame, it was extremely needed. Let's get this over to something else we were looking at, the Dixie. We talked about the potential move towards the downside, and what we were looking for afterwards. Got that move back towards our trend line here. Let's get this zoomed on out. Weekly chart so you can see things just a little bit better. This has been a trend line for a long time here. Really seeing that strength stepping back in, clicking buttons I don't need to, and we're starting to see a little bit of bottoming here as well. Weekly looking really nice, and daily time frame starting to get that move back towards the upside. Got your MACD crossing here, starting to print some green candles on that histogram. You've got your prime oscillator switching from red to light red, and potentially looking for that shift to green as your volume starts to come in as some buying volume. This will kind of be that acceleration of some selling on some of these assets. Really reconfirmed our trend line as some support here, and we're just wavering on these oscillators, seeing some sideways momentum stepping back in. First area I'd kind of look for on the Dixie, back up here at 98.24. If we're going to see that, probably going to see a little more sell off on some of your assets and some of these crypto projects. Let's see what we got in the chat here. We've got JR King Degen in the house. Appreciate you tuning on in. We got Curtis Hill in here as well. Thank you. Thank you. Mark Dutch dropping some clog emojis in there for himself. Only clogs. Let's see. What else we got in here? Veritech in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you tuning on in today. No splinters, Dave. Oh, all the clog emojis. All right. Let's hop on over to some crypto projects that we were talking about. We got about 10 minutes before we got to wrap up this show. We called out some levels on Ethereum the other day. Really got that move a little bit lower. We were kind of looking for that potential for a bounce at the midline of this old fair value gap here, as we had seen this one, as we saw the top side be a little bit weak, got that move all the way back down to an old level from way back here. So came in as some support very, very briefly here. Fair value gap bottom as well. Got a little bit of some bounce action here on the daily, but really, really not overwhelmingly positive with that bounce. Sell volume continues, selling pressure accelerating. So a lot of worrisome signs here on the daily, and we're not really seeing anything overwhelmingly positive here on the hourly either. Just a switch up of volume. So a lot of the bears taking a little bit of a step back here as we got that bounce off of the fair value gap bottom, and money flow still accelerating on that sell pressure. So we are seeing just a little bit of a battle in this range here. Keep your eyes on some of this. We will have to get a fib retracement kind of pulled on up here, because these are some extension levels, and we will do that for tomorrow's show so that we can potentially call out the levels to really look for on our way towards the downside here. For now, it does look like $1,938 is coming in as our support area. We will have to see if we can make our way up above about $2,050 to about $2,030. This is that little window that we were looking for some support. It is a fib level and the midline of this fair value gap. We're making our way back up towards it right now. Had a little bit of a bounce action here on the 15 minutes. You can see a nice little recovery has started to make its way in. We do have a fair value gap here to keep our eyes on, and a lot of sell pressure to contend with as well. So a little bit of a divergence here. We do see our sell volume slowing on down. We do need to see the buying volume taken a step towards the upside, because if we're just going to continue to see the sell pressure but no buying volume, you're just going to see this range down here continue until you really see those bulls take a step back. So this is our range for now. Keep your eyes on that top side, like I was saying, about $2,050, and continue to watch 1,920 come in as our support for now. If we lose some of that, we will call out those levels tomorrow to kind of keep your eyes on. We did have a few other alts to go over here. We talked about Solana the other day, and the level that we were looking for came within a few dollars of it. We were keeping our eyes on 85.48 because the market was looking extremely ugly. We had a lot of worrisome signs to really keep our eyes on, and we were calling out downside pressure doesn't look like it's over. So keeping our eyes on this daily time frame, we are starting to see a few interesting signs, but money flow and volume need to see a little bit of a switch up. We are seeing that acceleration on sell pressure all over again, but the nice sign here is your sell volume has slowed down just a little bit. So potential for a little more downside, like we were saying on Bitcoin, we were looking for that little more downside at about 65k. If we see 65k for Bitcoin, probably going to see $80 for Solana, and that is that platinum pocket. That 786 might be that nice little bounce zone to keep your eye on. Here on the shorter term time frame, get this pulled up on that hourly so you can see things a little bit better. We did have a little bit of buy pressure stepping on in here, but the thing that we're really watching for has started here on the hourly. We did get that divergence of money flow, got your volume starting to pick back up as some buy volume, but your selling pressure really continuing here. So keep your eyes on some of this. We do want to see us maintain that shift just in the light green on that volume for now, as we're seeing this MACD get that cross towards the downside and printing that red candle on the histogram. We really want to see if we can get some of that switch to bleed over into the higher term time frames so that we could try to get back to that $85 area. Zoom this on in, taking a look at that 15 minutes. As you can see, we did get a little bit of a recovery here. That area we were calling out for a potential support area, 85.50, coming in as some resistance here. Continuing to see that sell pressure accelerate, and we've got some decent sell volume here. So we do want to see that hourly shift really start to highlight here on the 15-minute. We want our volume to switch like it was here in some heavy red to some green, and we want to see our money flow coming in with it. Until we get any of that, we're not really going to find our support, and that $80 area on Solana looks like that first level we could start to see that happen at. We got about a few more minutes here, so let's take a look at one more thing that we kept our eye on. XRP. I've had more than a few buddies happy with our XRP gains, but they were calling out some things on XRP, and this was an area they were talking about a potential buy. I'm like, brother, this is a potential sell. This whole area, nice little consolidation, and things were overheated on that higher term time frame, and we started looking for some levels towards the downside. As you can see here, we've got a few of those drawn out. 135 was that first area to kind of keep your eyes on. Swept that area, grabbed up a lot of liquidity, and we are seeing a little bit of some support from this high back here, 127. Let's get that one drawn out as well here. We do have that platinum pocket being that next real area to keep your eyes on. That is $1.17. So keep your eyes on this. $1.17 could be that real strong support here, as the daily doesn't seem to be bottom just yet. We are seeing that acceleration on the MACD. We do have our first reversal signal that has really flashed since we've got this move towards the downside here, but you've got a lot of sell volume to really contend with. 1 hour, still seeing a lot of signs. Don't have money flow really coming in just yet, but we are nice and cooled off on that prime oscillator, just waiting for some of this volume to kind of switch up. Sell volume accelerating just a little bit here. We'll kind of have to see with that bounce off of 127 if we can close up any of the gapping that we would have seen on the shorter term time frame here. As you can see, we're really struggling to retake this red candle. We are starting to see just a few more bottoming signs here on the 15-minute. We did get that diamond that really accelerated that sell-off towards 127, and we'll have to see if we can make that push back towards the upside, or if we're going to lose this and then drop back down to 117. So keep your eyes on some of this. That's what I've got for your alt market. If Bitcoin's going to go to 65K, your alts are going to get decimated. So hopefully you've been listening to what we've been saying and that you've been holding off on the alts. Let's see. If I'm in one, I guess you're in an alt. Is that what you're saying there? What else we got? We got Steve Hickey in the house. Appreciate you tuning on in today. Alexandra G dropped it in the chat. We've got the Power Hour here on the Piper Academy that is going to be going live. We are going to be changing that time. JR talked about it as well. So we're not going to go live at 1 p.m. We're going to go live at 2 p.m. It works better with his schedule. It also works better with mine. Appreciate y'all tuning on in for the morning market report today. Hopefully we helped you out just a little bit with some of those. We were warning about the downside. We really got the downside, and now we're looking for that area that we can get a little bit of distribution so that we can find a nice little area to trade ups and downs on. Cohen's, you said Cohen's is live, Mark Dutch. I don't think I follow him. Let me get it pulled on up here. Subscribed. There we go. So I get that redirect all set up there. We do have 2 other shows we do on the Piper Academy. OC is taking a break today, so he won't be going live this afternoon. This evening. I will be going live this afternoon with JR. We do have something we will be going over today, and that is using what we talked about yesterday, market structure and market structure strategies. So keep your eyes on that. I love ICT kill zones. JR loves orbs. So we will be going over those in a little more detail today. That will be live at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Until next time, though, make sure to trade safe. Use a stop loss. Try to keep away from those alts unless you're trading them, so that you can protect your capital as much as possible. And we will continue to drop all the information you could possibly need to protect your capital. That is the name of the game. And until next time, stay safe and use that stop loss.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out, 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 out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?